Another unseasonably warm and windy day here at home. Temperatures once again soaring into the 70s. Yes, we will start to return back to reality as we head towards the end of the week, but still rather optimistic for that trick-or-treat forecast. Let's start off with the dog walking forecast. However, we're giving camp a lot of love. We just showed camp about 10 minutes ago. Let's show it again for our dog walking forecast. Thanks to Pat and Faye. We're going to give the green paw through this evening. Well, still windy. We remain dry throughout much of tonight, but starting tomorrow morning, that's when our chance of rain, even a few rumbles of thunder, returns to West Michigan. That's why our 13 weather ball blinking blue. Yes, cooler temperatures are in view. No more 70s after today, and yes, even some rain in sight. The wind, big chop on the big lake today. Out of the south and west, we have seen wind gusts in excess of 30, even 40 miles per hour. In fact, Holland, you have topped out at a wind gust of 49 miles per hour. That occurred earlier this afternoon. Notice the strongest wind gust occurring off the lake shore. A little less as you move inland, but everyone at least seeing 30 plus mile per hour wind gust all day long. We'll see the wind somewhat relax this evening before it ramps up once again. Tomorrow will be another windy day where much of the daylight hours tomorrow will have wind gusts 30 to 40 plus miles per hour. Big picture, we are still in the warm section of our next weather maker, which is a cold front that's just to our west now. This cold front will press into West Michigan tomorrow, especially in the early afternoon hours, and then that will finally give way from these warmer temperatures to a more seasonable air mass by Friday. But look at the contrast between all the warm air out ahead of the cold front, 70s, even lower 80s towards St. Louis, and then, yeah, there's the cooler air mass, 40s and 50s back towards Minnesota and the Dakotas. At least for our temperatures, we will stay very warm through tonight. Temperatures tonight only fall off into the middle 60s. That's warmer than where we should be for our afternoon high at this point of October. And even into tomorrow afternoon as trick-or-treating begins around 4 or 5 o'clock, many of us still in the 60s. But notice by the end of the evening, that cooler air mass starts to rush into the area, and that's when we'll finally fall off into the 40s by the end of that trick-or-treat forecast. In terms of precipitation, we stay dry through this evening into tonight, but here comes finally some shower and storm activity. Could easily be a few rumbles of thunder tomorrow morning. And then here comes the actual cold front, and that will be in the early afternoon. I think by around 2, 3 o'clock, we're going to dry out, enter the dry slot of this system. And one last thing to note, notice some snow back up towards northern Wisconsin to the western UP. We have none of that. The good news is that will likely dry out by trick-or-treat time tomorrow. It just will remain rather windy, and yes, we'll see those temperatures start to fall off, but most of the trick-or-treat time should feature temperatures in the 50s to even lower 60s. Tomorrow, daytime highs will be in the 60s. This will be achieved in the early afternoon before we see those numbers fall off. Remaining quite windy tomorrow out of the south and west, easily 30 to 40 plus mile per hour wind gust all day long. We finally will calm down by Friday. 13 on your side, 7-day forecast. So once we pass tomorrow, Halloween, Friday, pretty much where we should be for the 1st of November with some later day sunshine. That's good news for high school football playoffs beginning on Friday. Saturday, another sun-filled day. Very nice start to the weekend. And then the chance of rain will pick up by the end of the weekend, and especially next Monday and Tuesday. Helena, Juliet, not a bad trick-or-treat forecast by any means, just a bit windy tomorrow. And if you're going to head out a little bit later in the evening, maybe an extra layer as those temperatures start to fall off.
Okay. Sounds good. He tried to scare us with talking about snow.
I know, that one's scary.
Way to the north and west. The UP can deal with it first.
Just in time for Halloween.